Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yuri Folani Aloma. I'm alongside, is it?
I can help out. Good morning. I'm glad to be here. Cyril Abaku is my name.
Please continue. Because since between you and your colleague, I keep on mixing them because you guys can show me anytime, anyhow. I was just joking. You know, I was pulling your leg.
Of course.
You know, it's great to be back, and it's great to have you with us as well on a Monday, as we do every weekday. Okay, straight into business. And I suppose what came to the fore rose to the top, so to speak, news-wise. There are quite a number of things, but we've got to take them one at a time. Let's look at the Ghana-Nigeria. Is it a quarrel? Because traditionally, we've been brothers. And then things have started to happen. Our foreign minister has been miffed, and he has said as much. The foreign minister of Ghana, maybe the way he was sounding, he was also miffed and has been putting out a statement. But before we go, before we start the conversation, let's take a package in studio here that will sort of give perspective to the whole thing.
The Nigerian-Ghana relationship has been long-standing, but not without the twists and turns that may have jaded in recent the spirit of brotherhood between the two English-speaking member states of the West African Community of States. Though cordial, has had its fair share of tussle. Many may argue that there is a history of conflict dating as far back as 1954 and 1969. In act, Nigeria reciprocated with the Ghana must go episode in 1983. But there has been a lot of water under the bridge, with both countries working assiduously to build a more formidable relationship and respecting various ECOWAS protocols. But in recent memory, sustained attacks on Nigerian traders in 2018, resulting in about 600 shops belonging to them locked up. The following year, the assault continued. 300 other shops were also burgled and placed under lock and key. That impasse was resolved in May, with the shops opened. Some say this may have been a veiled attempt at placating Abuja after the embarrassing demolition of the diplomatic buildings housing Nigerian Foreign Service officials. Since then, President Nana Akufo-Addo has apologized to Nigeria, but recent actions have continued to speak louder than words. Despite protests, mediation, and several interventions by government, the reopening of stores was short-lived. A new retail code affected many Nigerians, leading to closure of shops. Now, about 250 shops belonging to Nigerian traders have been locked. Government in Accra, in its bid to seek foreign direct investment, is imposing prohibitive conditions which may affect livelihoods of Nigerian traders. Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema says Nigeria have to look to ECOWAS for a lasting solution to the continuous attack of traders in Ghana, and is challenging the essence of ECOWAS. If Ghana could go ahead and make regulations contravening ECOWAS protocols, promoting free trade between member countries in order to achieve its aim of ECOWAS of people rather than an ECOWAS of states. Beyond this, Ghana has contravened the law of reciprocity highlighted in the Vienna Convention. Some of the hostilities meted on Nigerians and Nigeria include the seizure of the mission in Ghana, demolition of property, aggressive and incessant deportation of Nigerians, and higher fees for residency permits. Over 1 million Ghanaians in Nigeria have enjoyed relative peace, which seems to be a luxury for Nigerians in their country. Enough is where Nigeria is at the moment. And in the days and weeks ahead, this departure from the spirit of the Lagos Treaty signed between member states may have tested the will and might of Nigeria as she defends her sovereignty over Ghana's flagrant disregard for the laws governing the relationship between the states as governed by the Vienna Convention and other treaties that specify diplomatic and consular relations.
Okay, Thank you very much for that report. Went out earlier. And Cyril has just been told me that I had a slip of tongue. I was talking about, I said the foreign minister. No, it was our Minister of Information and Culture that had actually, fired the salvo. And their minister, his opposite number in Ghana, had done this detailed response, 6 pages, something like that, wherein they largely denied the allegations. But there was a bit at the end about the Ghanaian Minister of Information assuring that his president would be meeting with our president to take these matters further. Now, we have this morning with us, we have Paul Ejime, International Affairs Analyst, and Seyi Adeyemo, Publisher and African Affairs Analyst, that will be joining us remotely. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you very much for making the time for us.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, and
good morning.
The viewers.
Thank you very much. I'm in studio alongside Cyril Abaku. Let me start with you, if I may. Let me start with you first, Paul. What does all of this say to you? The statement was clear from the Nigerian side of all the, shall I say, vexations that were coming in from Ghana, and that they didn't see any reason for it. We've long been brothers. And now the tone of the response, which is that most of it wasn't true, some of it wasn't even justified, the context of the allegations was not even on ground. Paul, give me your take on it, please.
Thank you very much. Well, it's not, it didn't start today, like you mentioned. Well, Ghana and Nigeria, they've enjoyed good relations. In fact, you can describe them as, is it brotherly or sisterly nations? So there shouldn't really be fighting, in public like this. But you see that in relations, well, be it personal, interpersonal, organizational, interstate, and global, there are bound, you have hitches here and there. And that is why there is conflict management or crisis management. Life is about managing crisis. So it shouldn't be seen as abnormal. But what is abnormal is the fact that the two countries that are supposed to be showing leadership, they are now not showing it. The two of them put together, they have a combined population of more than 240 million of the 360 or 70 that of ECOWAS. So that is more than 62%. One would expect them to show example.
Okay.
But like I said, in international relations, remember there's rivalry, of course, in football, in everything. And then the intro there talked about the issue of Ghana must go, and then what did and all that. It's been there. But what is happening now is that they have not really made any deliberate effort to, particularly the issue of the traders in Ghana. And then again, there is politics.
And then there is politics. One moment, please, Paul. Let me bring Seyi into the conversation. You might have read over the weekend, a former Nigerian High Commissioner, ambassador to Ghana. Is it High Commissioner?
High Commissioner.
A High Commissioner to Ghana, in the person of is it the immediate past? He had spoken about. He had said that if he were to say all that he knows about Ghana, the relations between Ghana and the things that Ghana has been doing to us, that it would break down. Talking about Senator Obanikoro, Nigeria's former High Commissioner to Ghana, he weighed in on the matter in that regard, that he had privileged information that he didn't think he could put out on television. What does that say to you?
So it says to me that as a people, both Ghana and Nigeria, we've not done well in the way we have managed ourselves both internally and internationally. Now, it's very simple. You're treated the way you treat yourself. I've always believed that as a people, international relations is something that you treat with a lot of seriousness. Yes, we have a very cordial relationship with Ghana over the years, but even in that, we also have seen that there have been all sort of skirmishes over the years. And I think that, as Paul had said, as leaders in this region, in the West African region, we ought to be more responsible and more responsive in the way we treat ourselves and the way we conduct ourselves, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done in terms of trade. There's a lot of work to be done in terms of security. There's a lot of work to be done. And I mean, you would not, I'm sure you will remember that Ghanaians were not too happy with the way we shut down our borders against our West African neighbors. And of course, these cannot be unconnected to the reaction, because it affected their business and affected a lot of things in Ghana. And these are the kind of things we need to do if...
Yeah, that was a Nigeria first kind of an action. Yeah. That was a Nigeria first kind of an action. So whereas I appreciate your bringing it up, I don't know that Nigeria had any choice in the matter. Cyril, did you want to?
Yeah, that's exactly the point that I was going to make. So basically, we've seen an exchange of hot rhetoric over the weekend. But what exactly are the basic ingredients, diplomatic ingredients that should be brought to the table now to begin to resolve this matter?
You want me to respond to that?
I was actually, yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I just feel that as the people, it's important that some of these things be treated from the highest authority. Now, I think the right step to have taken was to have ministers of information talking to themselves. I thought this would have been treated at a level where most of us would not have even known that anything had been spoken or anything had been done, and we don't see results. Because you see, we cannot afford to be at loggerheads with Ghana. Nigeria cannot afford. Ghana also cannot afford to be at loggerheads with Nigeria because of our strategic position in West Africa.
Indeed. Okay. Paul, one of the more visible aspects of what Nigeria would have regarded as maybe hostility was the pulling down of a portion of the Nigeria House in Ghana. That also, was part of the response that the Ghanaian Minister of Information had, put out yesterday in his detailed letter, and essentially was blaming Nigeria for not doing the needful, and explaining that this is the way the law works in Ghana and that kind of a thing. But he did say that in deference to Nigeria and its feelings, that the Ghanaian government had, undertaken to rebuild the damaged structure, and that it wasn't the Ghanaian government that had taken it down in the first place. It wasn't in Nigeria. It was actually from one of the stools.
Yeah, the Osu.
The Osu stool that had taken it down. Was that a conciliatory gesture, and is it enough? Can we factor it into the matter to try and understand exactly what Ghana's attitude is to Nigeria?
Let me start by saying what they can do to resolve it. I'm glad that the statement by the Ghanaian Information Minister, after all the response that he gave, talked about the immediate need for the two leaders to meet. That is what should be welcome. The others, what Nigeria raised, which are there, the evidence is there for everybody to see, and then the defense. I don't see why the embassy or high commission of a country in another country is the sovereign state. You can, when you violate it, you are violating the territorial integrity of that country. So the issue of whether it was a king that did it, or
whether it was a private arrangement, because that's the important. That's the thing they seem to be saying, that it was not official, that it was a commercial, a private commercial.
No, that is a no-brainer. You cannot go. They have the responsibility to protect the Nigerian lives and property in Ghana, just like Nigeria had that reciprocal, obligation to Ghanaians and Ghanaian property in Nigeria. So that is by the way. And I would also not want us to mix apples with oranges. What did I mean by that? Some people are talking about closure of border, but remember, that this issue of treatment of traders had always been there. And at times, some people are even reading some political, meaning into it. That it appears when elections are coming, politicians everywhere. When they think they want to rally the home support, they find a way to distract people. This happened in 2015. Now it is 2020 when an election is coming. Well, I'm not. I haven't done the survey to put it there, but you can see that there is some politics going on. Why do you pull down that, whoever pulled that video down, and then you start apologizing? That is not how to run. That is not how international relations is done. But I also want us to go back, because if we don't diagnose this issue properly, we're likely going to get the wrong prescription and then the wrong treatment. Indeed. What is happening? Nigeria also has some blame here. When this issue of treatment of your nationals, your traders keeps coming up, what did Nigeria do? I mean, they would say they have they escalated it? If you tried bilateral, it didn't work. There is ECOWAS is where all the nations in the 15 member countries have surrendered part of their sovereignty to be able to belong to a club that ensures that they get benefits. Because they belong there, Ghana has some benefits. Everybody in ECOWAS, and that is why ECOWAS has some protocols, some rules of association, like the free movement of people and goods, and then rights of residents and establishment.
Okay.
And then if you have laws externally that go against that, you now have to find a way to resolve it. And if Ghana is complaining that the border has been closed, you also find a way of resolve. Don't wait until you bottle everything up. They put your citizens as cannon fodders. Before you know it, there will be riots, there will be retaliation. Is that what they want? Okay. I don't think that's what they
as you say, Paul, probably it's excellent that the Minister of Information in Ghana had said that Minister Nkrumah had said that our presidents would be meeting, because I think it's going to take that kind of level, that kind of height, to really resolve this thing, because the Minister of Information, our Minister of Information, Mohammed, he was saying that Nigerians are they're suffering discriminatory treatment. Their shops are closed. 250 of them was the allegation from our minister. But the Ghanaians responded that there was no such closure, and that he seemed to imply that Ghanaian laws were being applied evenly to all foreigners. Sheyi, I don't know if you have any experience with this. I think it got to a matter of about $1 million. Nigerians were supposed to have a capital base of something like $1 million, and or go into a partnership with a Ghanaian citizen. And the rules it's all spelled out. But the Ghanaian side seems to be saying that, contrary to what our guys are saying, our Minister of Information has said that, no, Nigeria is not being treated separately. Sheyi, what do you think?
So incidentally, as a person, I had tried at some point, when the rush and craze for everyone to go and invest in Ghana, I also tried at that time, long time ago, to go and invest in Ghana. And I remember very vividly that some of the conditions that was given at the time was the reason why I did not go ahead, because it has always been stringent. The truth of the matter is, every country have a very, serious responsibility to put their people. Where I tried it at some point with indigenous laws and all of those. The truth is, we need to be very responsible. See, now the idea of us always running from this border closure thing, I think we need to be very careful about it, because everything is together. Now, you have Lever Brothers, you have Dunlop, you have everyone going there to do a lot of business. Now, all those things come together to sort of inform what kind of healthy economy they have in Ghana. Now, if whatever you do affect the economy, you can be assured that at some point in time, whatever they need to do also to make sure that they protect their people, whether you connect it to election, politics, and all of that. They will do whatever they have to do to protect their people.
So,
And
Sheyi, you are linking
level,
this deterioration in relations to Nigeria's protective action that it took, that self-protective action that it took and closed our borders when people were, as it were, taken undue advantage. You are saying that Nigeria reacting in that way to protect itself might be at the root of the current, misunderstanding. Because as you know, it's been called, we've been asked to be careful that so that we're not comparing apples and oranges. You don't seem to buy into that.
No, because the truth of the matter is the whole block. You're looking at a whole lot of things, and people will react in the way they want to react. I mean, the idea is we are neighbors. We have done business together. A lot of businesses have moved from here. You have had your banks go there to invest. Everything is interwoven. A lot of Nigerians, we have historical ties. The Obomo shop live in Ghana, and they have a very strong relationship with Ghana. So there's a lot of things that is in this. So all of the apples and all of the everything must go into the basket, because we must look at it holistically before we can deal with it and be able to get proper solution to it at the end of the day.
Okay, so I would like to come to Mr. Paul Ejime. I recall that this sort of deterioration in ties, has been there for some time. I think when Babangida came to power, he and his counterpart, Jerry Rawlings, tried to have some kind of detente, which led to, if I recall well, the formation of a Nigeria-Ghana Trade Commission or something like that. What can be done at that level? I mean, he was, on career here was talking about what it will take for the presidents of Ghana and Nigeria to meet. That's really high. But at the level of officials of both countries, what can be done, perhaps at the level of that commission to try to work things out?
Okay. Well, let me start this way. That Africa and West Africa in particular of late is suffering from, whether you like, you call it leadership failure at the highest level. Because remember how was ECOWAS born? That is what we are talking about. And now we want to dismantle that. During Gowon's time, during Professor Adedeji and Edem Kojo, these were two gentlemen who, went around the region in spite of the language barrier and all that the two, French and English and all that. They were able to put together an organization that was succeeding. Because let's face it, even though ECOWAS is not communicating its successes enough, but look at what they have done. Of all the RECs, all the regional economic communities, I think you can give it to ECOWAS, whether you like it or not. But that is now being eroded. Being eroded because of the level, the capacity of, or lack of that, of the leadership that we have. I mentioned politics there, and he said, well, you put everything, you cannot be separated. It has to be separated.
Okay, one moment, Paul. One moment, please, Paul. Paul, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Paul. One moment, please. Mazi Okoroafo has called in from Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning, Mr. Siri.
Good morning to you, Mazi.
Mr. Yori, you see, Nigeria as a country, we have a diplomatic relationship with Ghana. So Ghana or Ghanaians should not be treating Nigeria as a third-class citizen. Now, what I was expecting Nigerian government, thank God for the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, for that action he took. Immediately such an incident happened some months back. I was expecting Nigerian government to send delegates, the foreign affairs minister, to go to Ghana and start and tell them, look, we cannot tolerate that type of nonsense. How can somebody come to a country, invest their money, and somebody will come back and start this one, giving you a tax? Now, even that one notwithstanding, they said there is a land in that place, and Nigeria has been having that access to that land for the past 50 years. Now, look at how the Ghana went and revoked the order. And we are still sitting down here and be talking, Mr. Yori. Enough is enough from what is. Now, you have seen what your people showed some hours ago about the Cyprus, how organs are being sold in Cyprus and other countries. Now, what do? Our relationship with other countries, we should not be taking all this because how can you go to another country to say that you are entitled to non-indigenous and indigenous affairs? Now, are we saying that African countries are doing what is happening in Nigeria? When you go to a place, they say state of origin, a local government, Mr. Yori, enough is enough. Please.
All right then. Sheyi, continuing the...
Paul Ejime, actually.
Okay, I had interrupted Paul. Sorry, Paul. Among... the whole thing is quite untidy at the moment, but one has no doubt that by the time the two leaders meet, our leader and their leader, they'll be able to sort this out. But you could see that the Minister of Information in Ghana, Nkrumah, was, trying to explain how there were unjust allegations in there. I think the 825 or so figure that we had quoted as being deported, they had come back with, it was more like 700, and then had stated a number of crimes that when people find themselves, guilty of certain crimes, implying, of course, without saying so, that what would you do if you have criminals amongst your midst that just so happen to be of a particular nationality? We're going to have to do the needful. So you can see that at the moment, this particular conversation hasn't entered the friendly lane yet. Is this kind of thing to be expected, and then it'll get better as we go along?
What I can say is that it's not unusual. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But you are not saying that every trader, the Nigerian trader in Ghana is a criminal, or that because you also have Ghanaians in Nigeria. What is there? You mentioned the word being untidy. The provision of this rule, this investment promotion code that laid down all those $1 million and all that. Fair enough. As a country, you can do that. But remember, I was reminding somebody that apartheid was a state, a national law, segregation, discrimination. But did that make it right? Okay. So you have to go, particularly when you are dealing with neighbors, and knowing that if there is reciprocity, that are likely. Look at Ghana is now hosting what we call the African Continental Free Trade Area. And what is that to do? It is to promote trade in Africa. And you cannot be promoting trade and still be barring people from coming to do business in your country.
Okay, one moment, please. One moment, please. Sorry, Paul. I got to bring in Chidi. Chidi is calling in from Kafanchan. Good morning, Chidi.
Oh, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
How was your weekend and the new week?
Very well.
Thank you very much. Quickly weigh in on the matter.
Also, I'm saying good morning to Cyril.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, I am listening with keen interest the deliberation that has to do with ECOWAS, Nigeria and Ghana Faceoff. I am happy the two countries are championing democratic efforts in the continent. Therefore, I would advise that let the best diplomatic approach be adopted in order to resolve the imbroglio. In a situation where this is not going to pay off, having problems within or without cannot help either of the countries because of our long relationship. Therefore, I still insist that there is a better option of using diplomacy to resolve whatever the problem is.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. I think that really is the essence of what Paul, in fact, both of our guests have been saying, really.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, I was interested in a point Paul was making when he talked about the need to separate political from social and from economic issues. When Shia talked about the fact that all of these are tied together, but Paul was saying, no, we need to separate them to be able to understand what really the issues are.
Okay, well, another caller has come in. Good morning, Mr. George in Ikeja.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, and thank you for calling in.
And greetings to Siri.
Good morning to you, sir.
Uncle Yori, this issue needs to be thoroughly examined. You know, I kept saying that Abike Dabri to me is our foreign minister. This is
no, it's Godfrey.
I didn't expect the information minister to be addressing us on this matter. I expected the foreign affairs minister to address us on a matter like this, but it doesn't happen. Uncle Yori, I often travel on the West Coast by road. What Nigerians go through on that road, the way even the people in Togo and Cotonou and the Aflao border treat Nigerians is not the right way to treat Nigerians, especially the way the people who are traders apply that route. What they will not do to other nationals, they do it to Nigerians. It's not fair.
You actually think, Mr. George, that Nigerians are being singled out
Yes,
in our relations with
I
bad
believe
treatment?
that, and I have evidence to prove that by personal experience on that road. I was at the border between Togo and Cotonou. We had our passports, we had all our documents. I got papers from the Ghanaian Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the travel I was embarking on with my team. But what do you see? We got there, and they were telling us that the papers were not approved or were not genuine. I got those papers directly from the Consul General of Ghana in Nigeria here. He signed it personally. I had to insist. They were saying you must pay money. I refused to pay the money. They wasted my 3 hours at that border. This is not fair. What is happening there? I have a sensing. It has something to do with envy. Nigerians are very industrious people. They are very enterprising. You go and see the businesses they are doing in Ghana. The Igbo people, the way they do their business in an enterprising manner, there seems to be envy, and that is what the reaction is coming from.
Okay.
Not because they are not obeying laws. I've been there and I see it.
All right.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs should do his job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, maybe go a bit more on the sociological aspect of things now. And if it comes from what Mr. George has just said. Do you get a sense that Nigerians were self-confident people, it doesn't need to be said, could our methodology sometimes be the culprit? Could we be seen to be pushy sometimes, and other people sort of react badly to this perception of the pushiness of Nigerians? Paul, would you like to start? Or who? Anybody? I don't even know who is speaking. I think that is Shei speaking, but the line is not very good, Shei. Paul, I understand there's a caller. Is it Paul in Amuadofin? Okay. Good morning, Paul in Amuadofin.
Good morning, Uncle Chris. This is...
Good morning, sir.
Chris, sorry, Uncle Yori.
It's Chris. It's Chris, yes, in Amuadofin.
That's okay.
Okay.
Uncle Yori, please, can I get an extended time to speak on this issue? First of all...
go ahead. Maybe 60 seconds.
I have a family in Ghana.
Okay.
My wife is a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian.
Okay.
I moved my family in 2011 to Ghana. So I have a fair idea of what is happening. When I approached the Ghana Registrar Commission in 2012 to register a company, I was specifically told that I can't register a business that will take me to the major markets, that the retail markets are exclusively Ghanaians.
Okay.
If you're doing wholesale, you can do outside. My wife has 2 shops in Ghana, and it's on the major road, on the streets. It's not in the market. And there are rules to it. Nigerians circumvent these rules, and then they try to play smart, probably marrying a Ghanaian, getting a Ghanaian to register a company, having an office and all that. But that's not the issue. Now, the man that talked about Ghanaians hating Nigerians and along the road, if you're a Ghanaian and you're coming into Nigeria, I'll bet you what will happen to you at Seme border. Nigeria have more than 11 military posts on the road from Seme to mile 12, to mile 2, sorry. And if you know what Ghanaians pass through. Now, the issue is, one of your hosts talked about the politics of election. That is the truth. Ghanaians, when there's election season in Ghana, Nigerians become the center point of the discussion, just like China becomes the center point of American discussion in election year. China becomes the election point of discussion for Nigerians. So the problem is they have a responsive citizenry there that puts pressure. Most of these problems that is happening happens in Kumasi, not even in Accra. It happens in Kumasi. Do we have a responsive government? No. Do we have a government that digs into the root of the matter and tries to find a solution? No. Now, Nigerian government increased the visa fee to US, and US did the same thing, retaliatory. So if we have 1 million Ghanaians here, we have 1 million Nigerians in Ghana. If the Ghanaians increase their visa, their residency fee to $400, Nigerians should increase likewise and start coming for the Ghanaians and do retaliatory.
Okay,
so we should
Chidi,
look at it in
Chris,
the
I
way
beg your
that
pardon. Chris,
we should balance
I'm afraid I'm going to
questions.
have to interrupt you now. I did as much as I could, but thank you very much because it did sort of give us some sort of perspective. In essence, what you're saying, gentlemen, Paul and Sheyi, what Chris is saying is that there are probably issues on both sides that need to be addressed, and we have to be, I think, a bit more accommodating. But all of these will, because we don't have any more time to discuss it, I suppose a lot of this is going to be sorted out once the two presidents meet. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Okay, we got to move on now. Maybe take a break, I think. Yeah, let's take a quick break and be right back. Don't go anywhere, please. Okay, welcome back. I'm about to make a serious U-turn, very, very serious. So the U-turn is that Sheyi Adeyemo and Paul Ejime, they're still with us. That's the U-turn. Yes, towards the end, the lines got a bit sort of depreciated in quality a bit. But gentlemen, do I still have you, Paul and Sheyi? Aha! Thank you very much. Sorry about that whole U-turn that I did, but we're now back. We're now back on the road because we want to move on, still staying on the same, shall we say, theme of foreign affairs, but this time moving on to Mali and Nigeria. Mali's internal crisis and what it portends for our security. Let me take it from Ejime. If the lines have gotten better, let's just see. So Ejime, I beg your pardon, Paul. What can you tell us about your thoughts on what this is going to do for our own security if we don't manage this well?
Well, the problem in Mali, and remember we live in a globalized world and where everybody, whatever this one will talk about that is why we are able to communicate. Digital technology, phones here will very fast. So we cannot pretend that when your house, your neighbor is on fire, you don't go to sleep. And Mali is suffering from some of those diseases or ailments that afflict most African or West African countries. It is about governance. It is about insecurity. It is about, welfare of people. That you have unemployment so much of youths in Mali. You have insecurity flowing from the north. North has been seeking for independence since, in fact, that predates the independence struggle before they got independence in 1960 from France. They are still there. The Northerners, they feel neglected, and so they want to be part of the scheme. And then Sahel became a hotbed for insecurity and militant groups. When that became even more so following the killing of Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. So the whole of Sahel, that belt, Algeria, Mauritania, Libya, and then to North Africa, they have now become a place where terrorism now inhabits. So terrorism, insurrection, separatist movement, all those have combined to the point that the government in Bamako does not have control over what is happening in northern Mali. Over 30% of that country. The international community is there. UN, MINUSMA, they have about 15,000. France has about 5,000 troops. There is AU has a presence there. They have Miss Sahel. But all these have not been able to cure that ailment that is afflicting Mali.
Sorry, sir. Paul, I beg pardon. Let me bring in Nigeria's former ambassador to Mali. He was Nigeria's ambassador to Mali between 2012 and 2016. I'm talking about Ambassador Leah Ali Nuhu. Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you very much for joining us. Ambassador, following the conversation, maybe you've just heard what our international affairs analyst has said. I wanted you to weigh in on how significant the situation in Mali really is to our internal security here.
Thank you very much. Over the years, we have had quite a lot of challenges in northern Mali. During the time of Gaddafi, he had some control over the elements that were, moving around those axes and creating problems, here and there. And during that time, Gaddafi, who was aspiring, to be the leader of Africa, used his vast oil resources to deal with these criminal groups, by giving them most of what they needed and intervening in the countries where they were creating, some problems. In Niger, he was able to assuage the Tuaregs, by providing them with so much, that they needed. In Mali itself, he organized them into groups that were not only important for his own agenda, but that could be used when the need arises by him. So we had very little problems in terms of the search, in terrorism. And he equally saw that in these countries where these people were clamoring for change, he gave them most of the infrastructure, that they needed. If you go to Niger, you find out that government buildings, secretariats, bridges were all, done using grants and aid, from, Libya. It's the same thing, in Mali and a few other countries, within, the Maghreb. So that sort of, help, stabilize, those the problems in those countries. As soon as Gaddafi left, the scene, that was when we had the coup in Mali. And ever since, we have seen a surge. So much of these terrorists that we are living in the desert had so much ammunition and, that could not be collected, by them. And I remember at the time Gaddafi died, we had about 300 tons of military arsenal, moved into northern Mali. Where did those weapons, go? It's everybody's, question. And from that moment, we began to see crisis in Burkina Faso. We began to see crisis, in Central African Republic. Now, this is the route, that all these elements were using, to move, their weapons. And once the crisis reached Central African Republic, it has entered Cameroon, it has entered Nigeria, because we share borders one way, or the other. Now, with what is happening, in Nigeria, it's not surprising, that the movement of these illegal weapons, through Mali, through Central Africa, Republic, through Chad itself, that had been unstable in the past 40 years, or so, with all kinds of groups, fighting, one another. So if we translate that into the Nigerian, issue, you will see that, the consequences of what is happening in Mali is so grave, for Nigeria. We have seen it one way or the other of the backlashes, we are having. It was the northeast, that was affected. Everywhere in Nigeria, it has moved to the entire north of Nigeria. We are having similar crises, in the southern part of Nigeria. Recently, the United States, raised an alarm.
Okay.
That ISIS, and all kinds of groups are already infiltrating, the southern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm aware that between 2014 and 2016, a new rebel movement. Not many people have heard about it, called the Matina, rebels. Now, these rebels, are, based in central, Mali, and they used to be a Fulani, uprising, but they joined in with Al-Qaeda, and then Akim is Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, and some other, elements, like Mujao, which is a movement, that, in fact, together with Mujao, Matina rebels' objective is to spread, jihad in the entire of West Africa. So if you remember in late 2015 and early 2016, so many backlashes, of terrorist activities, were witnessed in Burkina Faso. These were the groups, that teleguided that. Okay. And then we had another crisis, of terrorists in Cote d'Ivoire, at the beach, where they really struck and killed, so many people. Now, this is the activities of this group. There are other newer groups that are coming up that we probably, haven't heard of. But okay. The objective is just one.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. Ambassador, let me bring one of the other guests that we have on the program right on. Sheyi, coming over to you now. In the light of the Ambassador's sort of very quick, concise, and comprehensive, recounting of the background to this whole matter, then it seems that one can understand this is a stitch-in-time saving 9 kind of a thing that our president, I imagine, needs to adopt, and that's why this kind of high-level attention is being paid to the matter. Sheyi, are you still with us? Oh, well, Paul, can you hear me, Paul? Sheyi or Paul? Mr. Ambassador, you're still there. Mr. Ambassador?
Yes, I'm online.
So, from what you've told us so far, it seems to me that we have almost like a stitch-in-time saving 9 kind of a situation, and timeliness is of the essence. And probably that's why, leaders, ECOWAS, they're demanding that this has to be sorted out sooner rather than later, before it festers.
Yeah, I quite agree, that ECOWAS definitely, will be jittery. ECOWAS has been jittery. We've lived with this crisis, for a very, very long time. But I'm just imagining what program ECOWAS, has before it to really deal, with these influxes and devastation that is taking place, everywhere. For, what I have seen, it's only probably Nigeria that had the voice, all along, to speak on behalf of others. We have had our own debacle for so long. Besides, the union between Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria that is working, in the northeast, we've not had ECOWAS really articulating any big assistance, to deal with the matter. I think we need probably to set up a machinery in Nigeria here that will go beyond where we are. If we can deal with the issue in Liberia and Sierra Leone, under ECOMOG, that was an arrangement, that brought virtually ECOWAS, on board. I don't see really anything, tangible at the moment that ECOWAS, can do, to stem up this tide. The Maghreb is completely empty. And you are talking of an area that is almost the size of ECOWAS, itself. If you take, that vast land, northern Mali is the size of Nigeria, with only 1.2, 1.5 million, people. I mean, how do you man such a place? And when you now look at the stretch of the desert, from Mali stretching into Libya itself, it's thousands and thousands of kilometers, harboring hoodlums that are doing all kinds of things that nobody can control.
So, Mr.
With the
Ambassador,
instability in
just
Libya today,
if I just may, Mr.
the
Ambassador,
government there is not even secured.
Mr. Ambassador, can you hear me?
Even helping in doing anything. So it's a very grim situation, that I think the ECOWAS region,
okay, Mr. Ambassador. I was just going to ask, in the past, since August 18, when the coup took place in Mali, we've had experts talk about the need for ECOWAS to change her approach in dealing with the political situation, saying that if the coup issue is not treated effectively, it could lead to a serious security implications for the region. How do you see Nigeria? What do you think Nigeria should really do in stabilizing Mali politically before even talking about security? How do you see, these two things playing out?
I think over the years we have been speaking about Nigeria's position to really enter into these countries and help in so many ways. Take, for example, NNPC, in Nigeria. What is wrong in Nigeria, going into these economies to establish the outlet, to provide them, with fuel, that they don't have, and then use that, as, a standpoint, or rather as a part, to be able to understand what is going on in these countries and do so many other things, that are there. These countries are economic units, and they don't have the capacity, they don't have the technology, they don't have the resources. We have these, resources.
Okay.
Now,
so, Mr. Ambassador, I'm afraid we've run out of time, but there you were telling us about one option of no doubt many that all the experts must be really mulling over in order to make a difference to this situation. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
Ambassador Leah Ali Nuhu, former Nigerian ambassador to Mali between the years of 2012 and 2016. And also to thank our panelists that started off the conversation, indeed the whole program with us. Thank you very much, Paul Ejime, International Affairs Analyst, and also Mr. Sheyi Adeyemo, Publisher and African Affairs Analyst. Thank you, gentlemen, also for helping us with this topic.
Thank you.
All right, then. Okay, so that's our program. All that's left is for Cyril Abaku and I to say, join us tomorrow, please. And in the meantime, do all you can to still stay safe.